Thank you, Chairman and members. I was in the middle of apologizing to the country for the language I used, which I said is beneath my character. I'm sorry to all those I offended, but please know I had been pushed to the edge. The people who know me know that that is not my character. I recognize my Member of Parliament for Nakawa East, Senior Council. Congratulations, my friend. Honorable members, the institution I head has the widest mandate under the Constitution. Article 52 refers. This Article 52 lists not fewer than 9 responsibilities or tasks of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. In addition to these, there are others which may arise under the state of emergency. Today, honorable members, I should be attending to these functions. I should be supervising investigations. I should be reading files. I should be writing decisions or rulings. I should be constituting panels for tribunal sessions. Today, Mr. Chairman, I should be in the field hosting barazas, talking to refugees, interacting with stakeholders. I should be hosting press conferences talking about the major human rights issues of the day. I should be convening commission meetings. But, Chairman, I have spent the past 5 months fielding questions and defending myself before every media house in Uganda. I have spent the past 5 months telling them that I am not in hiding, that there is no investigation on me, that I am not a thief. I have spent the past 5 months telling journalists that I'm not in exile, that I'm not on the run, and that we Ugandans no longer go to exile, but instead receive and host millions of refugees. I have spent the last 5 months being terrorized by the media, receiving calls from friends and relatives who comfort me, and from haters who tell me to go to hell. I spend all my time worrying about posts on X, on TikTok, and other social media platforms. Mr. Chairman, I now have to defend myself before committees of Parliament. So far, I have received at least three invitations to appear before 3 different committees of Parliament. All the invitations arrived in 2 days. One of them required me to appear the next day. Mr. Chairman, none of those invitations is about the current human rights issues. They are all about responding to false and petty accusations. This is really sad. In addition to the Commission's mandate under Article 52 of the Constitution, Section 4 of the Uganda Human Rights Commission says, I quote, "The chairperson shall be the head of the Commission, be responsible for the direction of the affairs and for administration of the Commission, and monitor and supervise the work of the Secretary." I quote. I have been taken away from these roles. My full-time job now is to defend myself against baseless, malicious, and defamatory accusations.
Abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tuchaddeko ewa Sheikh Asiraf Dembe.
Sebo nsanyusa okubalaba. Amannya agange nze Sheikh Asiraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa tunywa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala. Naneetaase nze enamba yange yeeno eri 0701-736-3711. Nammwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku ddwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze amaka gakolongotana sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amannya go ebyo byokka bijja kummala nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera. Olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa ey'awamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Meanwhile, the work of at least 3 members of the commission, that is half of the commission, is to conspire against the chairperson and one of their colleagues, to orchestrate a smear campaign against her, to place defamatory stuff in the media, to lodge baseless complaints against her at every investigative agency on the land, to report her to the President, to the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, to the Attorney General, to Parliament, and do anything and everything to destroy her. Their constitutional mandate is irrelevant to them. The meetings they clamor for are not for work. They are intended to avail them a forum to humiliate, to harass and taunt the chairperson. I ask, where is value for money for the Ugandan taxpayer? Honorable members, you live in this country. You have watched and listened for yourselves to the psychological terror I, Commissioner Kaheru, and the staff members suffer every day. Yesterday, you hosted here members of the commission. You listened to each one of them. You heard and witnessed the disrespect, contempt, hatred, and vitriol they harbor for me, their leader. You saw their demeanor. You heard their pettiness. I invite you just for a second to try to imagine what our meetings look like. Honorable Chairman and members, I was a member of the Uganda Human Rights Commission for 17 years. I actually was part of the Pioneer Commission. I worked under 2 different chairpersons, Mrs. Sekaja, the Pioneer chairperson, and the late Haji Medikagwa. I could never have imagined that a head of institution could be bullied, humiliated, harassed and taunted and disrespected, more so to that extent. I worked under Justice Irene Mulyagonja, then Inspector General of Government, for 8 years. I cannot fathom that we, her deputies, could ever have done to her anything near to what is being done to me. I have been a single mother to my son since he was 3 weeks old. Soon he will be 30 years old. He has a toddler son and a wife, and I'm their sole breadwinner. By the time a woman in my situation picks a pen, places it on paper, and writes a letter resigning her job.
Well, Chairman, maybe we can have a procedure. Chairman, we have some procedural issues. Let the chairperson finish making her submission before we chip in.
She must be in unimaginable agony. On behalf of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, as currently constituted, I apologize to His Excellency the President, to this Parliament, and to all the people of Uganda and all stakeholders. We have let you down. Mr. Chairman, allow me now to respond to just a few of the accusations leveled against me. But there are so many. I'll just restrict myself to a few. On the alleged exclusion of some commissioners from activities, this is not true. One of the activities which brings together the chairperson and the members of the commission is the tribunal sessions. We have 2 panels which I constituted for all the 6 commissioners. All the 3 commissioners, Stephen Basaliza, Simeon Subuga, and Jacqueline Atuhaire Rabukurukru, occasionally pick allowances for these activities, the tribunal sessions, and do not show up. We fail to realize quorum which may lead to our decisions being challenged in a higher court. Previously, single commissioners used to preside over sessions until we got legal guidance from the learned Attorney General. On at least 2 occasions, Honorable Jacqueline Atuhaire cancelled sessions even after picking all allowances for her driver and bodyguard. I initiate draft decisions and rulings and send soft copies to every commissioner. These 3 commissioners have never contributed any comment on any draft decision or ruling, but at least they sign the final copies. So it's therefore not true that they are excluded from activities. A lot has been said about a generator. Chairman, I have a generator allocated to me by virtue of my office as a power backup. I am the one who chairs all tribunal sessions and initiates the drafting of all our decisions and rulings. It was found necessary to give me power backup. I need power and Wi-Fi to do research and write those decisions and rulings. On the issue you began with, Mr. Chairman, closure of files and dismissal of cases, I have had a sustained and choreographed mantra of she has closed files, she dismisses cases. Let me begin by saying that the mandate of the Commission is a broad one. Complaints handling and specifically tribunal decisions are a tiny component of our mandate. Hearing cases, Mr. Chairman, is not part of the functions of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. It is a role derived from the powers of the Constitution under Article 53, Clause 2B of the Constitution. If I can read part of it loud. In the performance of its functions, the Commission shall have the powers of a court. In particular, Clause 2, the Commission may, if satisfied that there has been an infringement of the human right of freedom, order payment of compensation. So, these tribunal sessions are not a function as such, but are a fulfillment of the power given to us under Article 53 of the Constitution. I submit that even if there were no tribunal sessions, the Commission would continue to work. In fact, for your information, Mr. Chairman, the Uganda Human Rights Commission and the National Human Rights Institution of Canada are the only 2 national human rights institutions in the world with the power to convene, to sit as a court. So this is merely a fulfillment of that power. Back to the closure of files without a full hearing. Mr. Chairman, contrary to what you've heard, the decision to close cases which do not meet the required evidential threshold or on any other criteria was taken by the Commission sitting as a tribunal. I don't know whether members, these commissioners just forgot that we decided this as a tribunal. I don't know. By the way, Mr. Chairman, even courts of judicature dismiss some cases. Dismissal of cases is not unique to the Uganda Human Rights Commission. Apart from cases which don't meet the evidential value, other criteria for dismissal of cases include, there are many, but I'll just mention a few in the interest of time. Limitation of time. Some cases are filed out of time. Section 24 of the Uganda Human Rights Commission Act, Mr. Chairman, says no complaint shall be brought before the Commission after the expiration of 5 years from the date on which the alleged violation of a human right to which the complaint relates occurred. So, where we upon perusal of files, if I discover that this matter was filed out of time, this is a resource-starved commission. Why should I take it to a full hearing? Why don't I simply minute on it This matter was filed out of time, and I instruct the director to communicate closure. I don't see why that should be a crisis. The other criteria, Mr. Chairman, is non-disclosure of a cause of action. For example, where the case is that of negligence, but has been brought as a human rights violation. We've received cases to do with accidents on the roads, where a driver accidentally maybe knocks someone, and either they are injured or they die. Such cases sometimes are brought to us as cases of violation of human rights. And these are cases of negligence. So once that is made clear at the time of preparation for the hearing, this case should not go to a hearing. It should be closed and the parties informed. There are cases which are closed on grounds of suing the wrong party. Let me give just one example here, but there are so many. There are cases of so-called mob justice, where an angry mob violently attacks and harms or even kills a victim. Or in an event where the police tries to rescue that victim, the victim dies in the police custody. Some of those cases are filed against the police, the same police which tried to rescue the victim. So where the evidence clearly shows that the victim was killed by the mob, but the Attorney General has been sued, why should this case go to a full hearing, Mr. Chairman? There are cases which are simply frivolous, embarrassing, and vexatious. Most of the cases are alleged to dismiss prematurely, Mr. Chairman, are brought by hardcore criminals, some of whom are murderers, defilers, robbers, rapists, etc. Let me give just one example, else we would spend here the whole day. Imagine a man who defiles his 6-year-old niece, pleads guilty in court and gets a 10-year prison sentence, filing a case against the police, saying he was detained for over 48 hours before being taken to court, and therefore his right to personal liberty was violated. These cases are commonest in our regional office in Arua, where men defile their brothers, little girls, their sisters, babies. So, how can, Mr. Chairman, how can any serious human rights body entertain such a case? What message would we be sending to victims of crime? What message would we be sending to institutions in the criminal justice system? I leave those questions to the committee, Mr. Chairman. The other reason some cases are closed without going through a full hearing are those cases which clearly are intended to divert the course of justice. Mr. Chairman, there are people who file complaints at the Uganda Human Rights Commission for just one purpose: to minimize or escape culpability for their crimes. Once the evidence against them proves insurmountable, they bring to us cases of torture. Until the Constitutional Court recently pronounced itself on sections of the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act, accused persons almost always invoked torture as a defense. By the way, they continue to do that. I have seen several of them walk scot-free on this ground. The Uganda Human Rights Commission cannot continue to shield violent criminals from consequences of their crimes. I will not, Mr. Chairman, I will continue to resist turning the Commission into a center for sanitization of criminals. Forged medical reports. There are so many torture cases we receive backed up with clearly forged medical reports. Mr. Chairman, we have a duty to do justice to both parties, to the complainants, but also to the respondent, who is always the Attorney General. We have a duty to be impartial to each of them. We cannot continue to entertain cases which are based on forgeries. Otherwise, that would be institutional bias against the state. There are so many examples. There are so many reasons we sometimes close cases without going into a full hearing. There are some which are brought before the wrong forum, like employment matters. We have an industrial court. Some are land disputes. Mr. Chairman, we cannot hear all these cases. Remember too, honorable members, the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission under the Constitution must be a judge of the High Court or a person qualified to be a judge of the High Court. The only qualification for members of the Commission is that they must be people of integrity and high moral standing. With due respect, Mr. Chairman, the presumption of the law is that this chairperson has an understanding of the criteria for admissibility of cases. How can this small issue be amplified into a crisis? Are we really serious? This chairperson is qualified to be a judge of the High Court. This chairperson is an advocate of the Supreme Court of Uganda for more than 30 years standing. How can she fail to determine parameters of admissibility of cases? How can the chairperson, in exercise of her authority under the law, for sitting as a court or administratively, where she determines that these cases are not worth a hearing, how can that be a crisis, Mr. Chairman? On foreign travel,
excuse me, honorable members, I see two subheadings, foreign travel and motor vehicles. Should we really avail this time? Okay.
I'm over 60 years old today, and flying or international travel is scary for me. I fly out only when it is inevitable, when it is necessary that I have to. Each of the three commissioners and all the others travel abroad as and when the budget allows, and depending on the purpose for the travel. Sometimes I send staff members abroad. For example, I sent Commissioner Ayasizza to Moscow for a conference. He flew business class and was paid full allowances. The previous year, I had attended a similar meeting in Moscow. I flew economy class and did not receive any allowance. I did not complain, and today I'm not complaining. Most of the invitations, Mr. Chairman, which come, they come to the chair as head of institution, but they target technical people, the staff. When I read those invitations, they describe the event to be attended and the caliber of people they wish to attend them. So it would be awkward for me, Mr. Chairman, to send commissioners to attend trainings intended for staff members. I would be the only head of institution to do that when all my colleagues selecting attendees for the same event have sent staff members. On motor vehicles, for example, Honorable Atuhaire Jacqueline has so far been allocated 3 vehicles, one of which was brand new. Each of these vehicles would be crushed within weeks. In fact, on the day she received the brand new car, Commissioner Chifra Lukwago received exactly the same type of car. And when you look at hers today, it looks brand new. Commissioner Simeon Subuga was allocated the strongest car in the pool. Mr. Chairman, they use these motor vehicles mainly for their campaigns for elective office. Commissioner Ayasizza was allocated a brand new car. Talking about campaigns, brings me to the issue of neutrality or impartiality, Mr. Chairman. The nature of our work demands neutrality and impartiality, or at least a perception of impartiality. Two of these commissioners, Honorable Jacqueline Atuhaire Rabukurukuru and the Honorable Simeon Subuga, have openly participated in partisan politics as candidates for Parliament. Even in the most recent election, they participated as candidates. They even wear party colors and symbols for official meetings, causing immense embarrassment to the Commission. One of them actually contested for the position of District Chairperson, Women's League of a political party. At this point, Mr. Chairman, allow me to read Section 5 of the Uganda Human Rights Commission Act. Commissioners to relinquish particular offices. Let me confine myself to paragraph C. Executive or political organization. Mr. Chairman, when you have a member of the commission vying to be elected, a district chairperson of the Women's League of a political party, I don't know whether this is partisan politics or it is not, but we receive human rights issues from all shades of people. Some of them, people belong to different political parties. How can somebody of a political party other than that to which a commissioner identifies with feel confident that his or her matter will be looked at with a neutral eye? The nature of appointment of the chairperson and the members of the commission is that I'm helpless. Actually, when I look at their demeanor, I cannot dare say, but this is wrong, because I still want to live, Mr. Chairman. On meetings, Mr. Chairman, it brings me to your second concern, that the commission has not sat since March 2026. I concede that I have not convened commission meetings since March. We had the last one, if I recall well, on 9th March this year. First of all, it is not a requirement of any law that we must sit every month, every week, or whatever. However, again, I concede I'm a coward. I fear. How do these commissioners behave during these meetings, Mr. Chairman? They have turned those meetings into hell for me. They caucus ahead of the meetings and turn each meeting into a lynch mob for me. Whenever I enter the boardroom for any meeting, I leave my secretaries, my personal assistant, my bodyguard, drivers interceding for me so that I don't break down. They yell at me, humiliate, insult, and swear at me. They point fingers at me. Commission meetings are utter chaos. Each meeting I convene leaves me in tears. I have never known peace ever since I took oath as chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. During meetings, they record what some of us say, and we hear our voices being played on radios. And I think almost at least 12 of the meetings we last held, I always have no communication from the chair. Honorable Jacqueline Atuhaire Rabukurukuru openly declared her hatred for me from day one. She put it to me that it was her who authored a report to the president, leading to my former woman MP, Irene Moloni, to be fired from cabinet, and that I too would be fired from the position of chair of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. She started to intimidate me.
Honorable members, the point is about meetings. I want to restrain the chairperson from going personal.
Most obliged, Mr. Chairman.
Let's stick to the principal issues.
That is all I can say about meetings, Mr. Chairman. Let me say something again about from foreign travel. Some of these meetings abroad are boycotted. I don't know how to say this without mentioning a name. But Mr. Chairman, let me say, I ever sent one of the 3 commissioners to attend a meeting in Geneva. She declined to travel to Geneva. She called me on the phone to say I will not travel to Geneva. And she gave me a very long story. Mr. Chairman, I sent one of the members of the commission there, Father Lokodo, to represent us at that meeting. To date, I regret that decision. I had no idea how frail he was. Father Lokodo came in at the last moment. I had known that he was a little unwell, but I didn't know the extent of his ill health. Eventually, he got in Geneva. He stepped in because this commissioner who I had asked to travel to Geneva had declined. I also sent her for a meeting in Nairobi. She declined to attend it and didn't even have the courtesy to tell me so. I discovered later that she had not arrived at that event. Mr. Chairman, I should add that these commissioners have tormented me at office ever since I met them. The worst is when they conjured up false accusations against me, wrote false and malicious stuff against me, which they distributed to various agencies like State House Anti-Corruption Unit, Police, Inspectorate of Government, and various government offices. They have based on this false dossier to unleash untold psychological terror on me using social media, mainstream media, bloggers, etc. They have defended...
Madam Chairperson, I'll still restrain you to stick to policy issues and not personal issues.
Most obliged, Mr. Chairman. Now that I'm here before this committee, I should say that the purpose for bringing these issues to the committee was not even about seeking justice. It was about shopping for another forum at which to continue the mental torture against me. Mr. Chairman, you may ask yourself, how come other commissioners, the other 3, work well with me? Mr. Chairman, I was a commissioner at the Human Rights Commission for 17 years. I was deputy IGG for 8 years. For 6 months, I was acting IGG. I never ever faced such accusations during all those years in those institutions. The IG has a monster budget, at least compared to the peanuts at the Uganda Human Rights Commission. If I were the thief they have branded me, I should have stolen money.
Madam Chairperson, I would invite you to make a conclusion because we are going back to the very issues that we have discussed. I want you to conclude your presentation.
Let me conclude by saying that the recent statement of the Attorney General on the floor of Parliament shocked these members, hence resorting to the committees of Parliament to further their smear campaign against me. But I should end maybe on a positive note that despite their vicious hatred for me, I have tried to reach out to them. I asked one of us, Commissioner Lamex Omara Apita, to initiate dialogue between us. He had started these efforts. He even identified an external professional mediator, the immediate former Solicitor General, Mr. Atoke, to help mediate between us with the view to bringing us together. So far, I see no sign that they are ready for a mediation. Their only mantra is she should go.
Thank you.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. In your conclusion, you seem to suggest that it is unable to be salvaged. Is that what you seem to suggest? But before you come in, because these members are going to weigh in. Honorable members, I have other members who arrived after the introductions had been done. I want to give you a chance to introduce yourselves. I'll start with my senior, who had other engagements on the building.
I came later, I had another meeting on national economy, which I've just left to come and attend. I've had, and I hope they will declare the conflict of interest. Thank you, Vak.
Thank you. The Honorable Cohen, the Honorable next to you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Kungu Samuel Mutezi. I represent Kigulu North constituency.
The name is sounding so English, they didn't hear it well.
Kungu Samuel Mutezi. I represent Kigulu North constituency in Uganda district.
Thank you, Chair. My apologies for coming late. I was performing my duties as the regional chief whip for Chigezi. We had some engagement.
Not as a husband. I'll now invite you. Now, by taking and accepting the apology means we do not again go back to the content of the audio or the video or whatever it is. We shall restrict ourselves to the issues which have been presented in this committee today. And most importantly, policy issues. I thank you. We will start with the Honorable George Musisi from Chira Municipality. Chira.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Madam Chairperson, for that. I have, as by your guidance.
Sorry to interject, and I think in the interest of time, let's give ourselves time. 2, 3 minutes? 3 minutes.
Most obliged, Chair. 3 quick ones. One, I'll restrict myself to policy issues. And like Chair said, the Chairperson said, tribunal hearings are not a core mandate. So let me first ask something to do with the core mandate. Article 52, 1, A, B, and C. But if I'm to restrict myself to A, well, among the functions is to investigate, that is the commission, at its own initiative, or when a complaint made by any person or group of persons against the violation of rights, to visit jails, prisons, and places of detention or related facilities. Those are some of the core mandates, and as a senior lawyer, she knows that the order of precedence shows how important those mandates are. So the question would be, how far, especially at a time, and I'm not restricting myself to these 3 months, 6 months of pettiness, but the last 6 years where we've seen gross violations of human rights, which investigations has the commission on its own initiative or on complaints instituted, which places of detention, both gazetted and ungazetted, can we have that on record? Secondly, Chair, in my 3 minutes, she mentions about tribunals, and that is page 4 of her statements, which have been convened and not taken off because of the absence of the other, or frustration by other people. That is a policy issue, which I would wish that she lays some evidence to that, given that this committee is going to meet those people, to see who has been failing the hearings of tribunals. Lastly, Chair, still page 5 of her treatise, the human rights chairperson talks about not using the system, the commission, as a sanitization of criminals. And she mentions that some of the people who lodge complaints may be robbers or rapists or hardcore criminals. To the extent that the commission chairperson is labeling a person who has brought a human rights violation as a rapist, because she doesn't have the commission not vested with powers of conviction or declaring people rapists. Its mandate is about human rights violations. Our laws, first the Constitution, the Prohibition and Prevention of Torture Act, do not in any way say that a hardcore criminal can be tortured or his rights can be violated. That is still the law as we know it, as she studied it, and as I studied it. So if she says that this may be pertains to how she views suspects, and she mentions that some of the cases that have been closed as a result of being brought out of time or because of wrong cause of action, a matter, a complaint being made before the Human Rights Tribunal is different from a matter being filed in court. In courts of judicature, you instruct a lawyer, like Narukora here, to file a case for you, and they do the pleadings. I've lodged complaints, Human Rights Commission. You go and the staff of the commission takes down your issues. At that point, a human rights officer can say this complaint is not for this jurisdiction, or it doesn't have a cause of action. So it's not right to say that after a person waiting for 10, 15 years, and you sit on your table and you close the file saying, we've eventually realized you don't have a cause of action. So my specific question, lastly, is this the appreciation of the mandate, or it's a personal feeling that for people, before you eventually do a human rights violation, we have to first know your guilt or innocence in another matter which is not before the commission? I thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Once again, we welcome the guests from Uganda Human Rights Commission. Salongo Richard Senteza is my name. Madam Chairperson, we thank you very much for your elaborate speech, emotional as the chairman put it. And that brings me to my question. Madam Chairperson, the sun shines to those who are standing before it shines to those who are seated. You are at the helm of this commission as per the law, and recently you issued a notice of intention to resign. If you, as the chairperson, you have thrown in the towel, what is the fate of the commission, the other commissioners, and other staff members? Secondly, you ably explained that there's so many files that were closed, went through the proper procedure. Honorable Musisi has labored to divert from that. I also want to concur with him. Is there any documentary evidence to the effect that the commission sat as a body and dispensed these files? Because what we had yesterday is that these files were dismissed unceremoniously. And you have just told us this morning that all these files went through the proper procedure before they were dismissed. Could you please give us evidence to that effect? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable. The Honorable Anne Ebaju Adeke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I really appreciate your guidance to the... I just want to restrict myself to the part where you close and dismiss files. Yesterday, the commission has mentioned it. It almost looks like you unilaterally do it. Aren't you supposed to execute this mandate of hearing matters jointly with all the commissioners? Why is it something that they do not have knowledge of? I say this because we in the public are very concerned about your partiality and how you've executed your task in the field generally of human rights protection and observance of human rights. I have in my hand here some of the matters that you closed and dismissed, and I can see it is your director complaints who always signs off the dismissals. But when you read some of the reasons that you give, or it is found that you resisted arrest, so the force that was used on you was proportionate, therefore we closed. It is found that the officer who was conducting the arrest acted in self-defense, so we've closed. Madam Chair, in my view, these are not decisions that you would unilaterally reach without subjecting it to at least quite a number of opinions, so that you are seen to do justice to the people that have come before you. You know, by the time complainants come to bring their complaints before you, It's because they are aware about, or they are aware of the long and tedious process that going to court and litigation would entail. That's why they come to the commission. So you should also ideally discharge your duty honestly and without partiality. How is it? I want to understand how you can unilaterally, without the involvement of other commissioners, dismiss and close files. And how do you think those Ugandans whose files you have just thrown out would feel after they have presented all these things to you, and other commissioners are telling us they were not part of the decision? So did you sit alone with your director complaints and say, this one throw out, this one throw out, this one take in? Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Honorable Anne. In short, Madam Chair, specifically under which law, where you can exercise it single-handedly? Is it exercised by a tribunal? Is it exercised by a commission? Who has this mandate?
Honorable Chair, and my concern is exacerbated. You cannot waste time on this. This is frivolous. This is a certain level of bias.
Honorable Anne, you have made your point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this latitude. Mr. Chairman, this case is culminating into witchcraft. I believe, Mr. Chairman, you have heard. The chairperson of the commission have had the occasion of hearing from you. I have just a few questions, but I'm so concerned about how you view human rights in the due process. When a suspect is arrested, you don't believe that a suspect is not entitled to a right to be arraigned before court within 48 hours as per the constitutional commandment? Can we do away with that constitutional commandment while considering the gravity of allegations? Isn't that dangerous to be coming from the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission? Is it your view that somebody, as long as there are serious allegations against that somebody can be subjected to torture, which is contrary to the law, which is contrary to the provisions of Article 24 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda? You, as the chairperson of Uganda Human Rights Commission, isn't it your duty to protect the right to be free from inhuman and degrading treatment? And you are saying that since this person committed an offense, that person can be subjected to such treatment? When you say that, no, these are just frivolous, vexatious claims, because this person was subjected to torture and he was tried in the court, he was convicted and sentenced. Therefore, it was right for him to be tortured before arraigning him before court. That's how I've understood you. Madam Chair, in July this year, 2026, in the stature of the Commission, the Attorney General came on the floor of Parliament and clarified that yours was a mere intention to resign, but you have not yet resigned. Do you still command the moral and functional authority to lead the Commission while your resignation is still in the limbo there, in the balance? Can you ably and unequivocally invite Ugandans who are victims of violation of human rights to present their petitions before you in light of the status, the balance you are in? Where are we? Lastly, don't you regret that in light of human rights violations in Uganda now, instead of handling those violations, those issues, you are busy discussing who is entitled to a trip such things. I am so grateful, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very
Thank you very much. And I think mission and help the Uganda Human Rights Commission come back to execute its constitution.
Please. Thank you very much. Madam Chairperson, 3 quick things. And I thank you for your submission. 3 quick things. You mentioned partisanship. That is important.
Honorable George, can you write that down, though you're not going to have the microphone again?
Chair, you will give me back my 1 minute that I lent both of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You mentioned partisanship. And if you're familiar with the complaints to the IGG, your commissioners also mentioned partisanship. Chair, allow me take out from a section of that statement. It's just 1 line. The NRM gains are not being protected at the UHRC. In fact, some people who have tested the chairperson's misconduct and abuses, even in tribunals, could have voted against the NRM. She's a liability to government. My question, is your commission partisan?
So you're worried that
yes,
she's not protecting the NRM gains?
That's what seems to be happening. And I'm wondering whether the Human Rights Commission has been turned into a partisan outfit, serving one party.
But in her submission, she said that's what she.
Yes, I want her to. Yes, I want her to substantiate further.
Okay, again. Okay.
Yes, and secondly, your fellow commissioners allege that you received 77 million Ugandan shillings from the Chinese embassy to buy ICT equipment, which you never bought. Why was this money put on your personal account as they allege, if that is true? And why did you usurp the role of the procurement officer, if that is the case? And then finally, Madam Chairperson, is your commission dysfunctional? Is the situation salvageable? Do you think the commission, as it is constituted now, can still work together? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Honorable Kungu.
To some of the queries stated under Article 53(2) that some of the roles are not for the commissioners who are complaining, but rather could directly follow under her. I interested myself in the definition.
Now, are you sure she said that?
I heard. She will clarify if I heard her wrong.
I didn't hear that.
I interested myself in the definition of the commission, and it's nowhere stating or defining that a commission entirely means the chairperson. It talks of the commission, which includes all the commissioners. So when it comes to closing of files, and you say this is in your opinion, you saw some issues are petty issues, and you close them unilaterally without the involvement of other members of the commission. I think this deviates from the definition of the commission. Two.
So what's the question?
My question is that proper? Or excluding other members because you think, in your opinion, they don't form.
Okay.
Yes, yet they are defined in the definition to be members of the commission. Two, it is stated that the chairperson continued receiving NSSF contribution even after clocking the mandatory years. So, under what policy was she getting that NSSF contribution? Finally, Mr. Chairperson, the budgeting rules and the financial issues appear to be under her docket, and she was taking such decisions alone. That's why you realize that even the money were being deposited on personal accounts of her PAs. Among the names I'm getting here, we are seeing names like Dorini, the Nansambas, who are not members of the commission. Isn't that abuse of power of the commission? I beg to submit.
Is that a fact or one of the allegations made?
I said among the allegations, but these are facts which can be verified by looking at the
let's hear from
personal accounts of these people.
From Soroti.
Thank you very much. I thank the chairperson for her submissions. I have maybe one or two issues. The first one,
called a CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, as prescribed under this act. Or if he's not there, you are the one who is working or doing the works of the CEO.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Elia.
By indicating that each individual commissioner came to the Uganda Human Rights Commission alone upon the appointment by His Excellency the President. And when they were taking over that mandate, the offices, they took oath. But Mr. Chair, with your permission, the oath is very interesting. And if you allow me, I want to remind and read it for us,
please proceed.
Ugandans. The oath, it states, I, the name, being appointed chairperson or member of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, swear in the name of Almighty God, affirm that I will wear, mark this, I will wear and truly exercise the functions of a chairperson or member and do right. Mark that one, do right to all manner of people in accordance with the Constitution and the laws of this country without fear or favor, affection or will. So, help me God. I want to ask the chairperson, are you really following the oath that you took as an able Ugandan? Thank you. My other point, and if yes, can you formally present it before the chair so that we can know actually the president is aware you've presented these issues?
Thank you very much, Honorable Elia.
My last point, Chair, is that still on page 7, the chair said that she has never known peace. But she, in my understanding, I want to ask her, have you ever declined a salary payment from the consolidated fund since you say you have never known peace? And since you took oath, don't you think you have now regained peace and comfort as you enjoy this position? Therefore, tell us whether you still love this job. And if not, you can still inform us so that you can advise you on the next action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam.
Thank you. You told us we are here to help the commission function. Madam Chair, I would love to ask you, since the commission is here to help you, what do you want this commission to do for you, this committee to do for you, to ensure that the commission is functional? Please tell us. Secondly, I would love to know, as you execute your duties, what guides you? Is it the law or emotions based on what you have communicated? And if it is the law, have you addressed your mind to Article 44 of the Ugandan Constitution? And have you addressed your mind to Convention against torture and other cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment or punishment? To be specific, Article 2.2, which says, no exceptional circumstances whatsoever, whether a state of war or a threat of war, internal political instability, or any other public emergency.
Actually, she knows all those provisions.
May invoke justification
Let's get to the point.
of torture. From her communication, that is why I am reading to her, from her communication, that some people, whatever they go through, is a consequence of their actions. Let us believe, yes, they were rapists, as you communicated. why would you judge them and give a blank check to Uganda institutions that they should torture or keep someone beyond the required time because they are suspected to have committed the offenses? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Here we have another commissioner who has appeared, and yet the instructions were clear that we are going to interface with the chairperson alone. Is it procedurally right?
Honorable Eliab, the meeting started at 11 sharp.
I know.
Thank you.
But
Honorable Marshal Alenyo.
Thank you very much.
Order. Which inhuman treatment here?
Overruled.
Overruled. Second, Chair. Madam Chairperson, I have 3 questions. 3 that the IGG, there was no scandal and there was nothing which involved any dispute between you and other top executives of the IGG. So I just wanted you to compare for me your time at.
Yeah, we are handling issues of Uganda Human Rights Commission.
As a member of parliament and as a lawyer, whether that act would have prejudiced the relationship between you and your office and this place in any way. My third and last question is that in my following the affairs of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, I have been advised and also told that in 2004, I want you to note the time, August 2004, 2024, the Canadian government.
This committee. Chair, my humble concern through you is that the chairperson of the commission highlighted the issue of partisan. Can I assume it's the cause of all these issues you are seeing because you went partisan and instead of performing the duties expected from the commission? Because we may assume that could be the issue, so sabotaging your role, because you're supposed to do this part and the other people are playing on the other lane. And last one, Mwanga Chivumbi and others who are just going through in that style, because human rights is our voice is just maybe in no existence, and we base on that to ask on this ground.
Thank you. I'll now
possible. As long as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. There is still a chance to work together in the execution of a public good, in the interests of the common good. We can still work together everywhere we are. So I urge you, the questions which members have raised are very critical, and in addressing them, also be sincere as you made the way you made your apology, because they will guide you on the way forward. See, the act of forgiveness, the act of forgiveness is priceless. It does not exonerate, but it liberates and frees stressed energy to productive energy. So I want to thank you. I believe, as the chairperson said yesterday, we shall also have an opportunity to engage with you together with the other commissioners, and we see the way forward. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
to make a few inquiries.
Chair, in law they say it is important. It can with what many of our colleagues have said, and I know that this meeting is to extract as much information as possible, ask the right questions that will eventually help us when we come together to come out with a report. So I think we have done a good job, Chair. But despite all that has been said, Chair, allow me also say there was an issue, and we know from documents we have that there were matters of the dismissal of, is it the secretary and the accountant that ended up before the court. And I think probably was dismissed or something. What I wanted to know is, do we have a substantive, other than people acting, do we have a substantive secretary and also an accountant? Or is this, our fear yesterday was that this technical role of this section 11 of the Human Rights Commission Act, I think subsection 4 allows the commission to come with its own procedure. And I think yesterday we were talking of even financial policies and other things. Do we have all this, work plans and all? Not even finally. I think you actually stated, Chair, that you initiated some sort of mediation through one of your committees. Or do you, other than that mediation or ADR which you tried,
discussed, that one I want to array of fears. From yesterday, we have encouraged the members. In fact, we had even objected to the reading of some documents because we wanted to come with a fresh mind and understand what is pertaining in the Uganda Human Rights Commission. I want to thank the honorable members who have raised heartily issues for the good of seeing a functional Uganda Human Rights Commission. We are so alive to the power of its mandate and its strong contribution to this country. So many questions have been raised. Others are seeking clarifications. Others are seeking answers. Others are seeking evidence. I want you to think very carefully through those questions like the Honorable Hind has guided. Think through very carefully and choose which questions you can answer now and which questions you need to reflect on, and document them and come back to this committee with even documentary evidence where need be. I want to give you that leverage to answer only those questions you feel you can give an honest answer in this meeting now. Those ones you need to refer later. Please let us know and we shall accord you another day to receive those responses alongside other matters that we shall seek clarification on.
Procedure, Mr. Chairman.
Procedure, Honorable.
There is something I've been shy to say until it came from Honorable Marshall Alenyok. Chairman, the way I have been treated, what I have been going through, ever since I did Lugambo, to His Excellency the President, and reluctantly, there is no other person who will ever blow a whistle on syndicated grand corruption. I am here precisely because of that. Nothing else. All these, the orchestrated media campaign, the psychological horror I have gone through is because of that. But I will leave it at that. Chairman, what the commission you've heard from me, I wish I would sugarcoat this, whether the marriage is retrievable or not. I want to leave that to the wisdom of this committee as to whether this marriage can be retrieved. Let the committee advise accordingly. On whether I'm still, whether I have the command of the office or whether I left or whatever, I'll just say two things. One, is that my letter to the president, maybe I was naive about this, I thought it was confidential. And I copied it to the Honorable Minister of Justice. It leaked to the public, I think about 5 or 6 days after I had written it. And since the spirit of my letter was it should be confidential, I don't want to comment much on that, but also to remind this honorable committee that the learned Attorney General guided Parliament. He addressed Parliament on that issue. You remember what he said. It's the reason I'm here. He said Wangadia Mariam Fauza is the substantive chairperson of the commission. And it's why I'm here. I respect the opinion of the learned Attorney General. So that's why I'm still in this chair. A lot has been said about dismissal of cases. I don't know whether there will come a time when this committee or any other committee will summon here judges or registrars to explain their decisions, dismissing, writing rulings, dismissing applications, whatever. But let me say that, and also the personalization of this has really pained me. We have a complaints handling manual. It says decisions of this nature where we terminate hearings without going full length are communicated on behalf of the commission by the director, the concerned director. Indeed, the previous directors have been doing that. I don't know why this has been so much personalized this time. On the use of my language, criminals, learned friends, and honorable members, I use this word to only convicted, those complainants who are serving sentences, the convicts. We ever inspected, I think, prisons in West Nile region, and many of the convicts had predominantly the crime they had committed was defilement. And you should look into the ages of their victims. Some of them are toddlers, they are victims, and their nieces. These are daughters of their brothers and sisters. And when they plead guilty, they get lenient sentences. So as you inspect this prison, somebody said, excuse me, Chair, by the way, before I was arraigned in court, I was detained at police for 4 days instead of 2 days. And you register such a complaint and you convene a session to hear that case. There is a victim, that 4-year-old girl, whose life will never be the same as a woman and as a mother. When I think about that, my heart trembles. That this convicted defiler, who has also committed the crime of incest, is today a victim of human rights violations. That we should hear this case. That tell me, Chair.
Honorable Abdallah, please. Let's about the chair time.
If the chairperson exercises her wisdom to say no, but in light of we have so many other cases, we cannot prioritize a case of this nature that a convicted defiler is now our victim, and the police which arrested him and actually rescued him from mob justice is now guilty of violating his right to personal liberty. I maintain, regardless of what this committee will decide, that is not acceptable to me. We have to be broad in our decision making, to cast a wide net and look at victims of crime who are defenseless, who run to police for protection. That these defilers are now the victims, that is a horror. That is horrifying to me. Those are the people I referred to as criminals. There is a case, it originated in Barara, where the complainant had been convicted of aggravated robbery and murder. In the course of carrying out that robbery, he murdered 2 people. But he said he had been detained for more than 48 hours before being arraigned in court. What would that family, which lost 2 people, what would they feel hearing that the Human Rights Commission is sitting in Mbarara has awarded so much money to a convicted murderer, double murderer? So those are the sensitivities we have to deal with. I cannot sit here and promise that we shall reverse a policy on that one, Mr. Chairman. Lastly, I just want to emphasize, to welcome the idea of dialogue. I have tried it, not once, but so far I'm not seeing any indication that the commissioners who accused me everywhere and anywhere are willing to have dialogue. I hope that that will be forthcoming. Finally, for emphasis, I leave this committee to decide whether this commission is salvageable. That none of us has been inducted. Maybe, I don't know, should we induct it? We've had them on a continuous basis. So it's not true. So and absolute lies.
Clarification, Chair. Chair, clarification. You talked about time for induction, and you're talking about 3 days. Do you think 3 days induction in this case is sufficient? Then the other is, like in the media we had of political failures. That issue came up yesterday, and even do you think that helps with reconciliation when such come up? Thank you.
Honourable members, I am not opening up another discussion. I want to direct the chairperson to respond to all that responded to now, and the clerk will liaise with the clerk, will give you a program on when you will appear, vision of response to those issues. I also want to, Commissioner Kaheru, do you have our documents with you?
Thank you very much, Chair. Because we are going to submit to make documentation, Chair, I request that the accompanying documents that the committee wanted me to furnish them with yesterday come with that package. And this is because the chairperson in her submission has touched on some of the issues.
Yes, Honorable Peter.
I think the Honorable Kaheru is taking us for granted. The basis for him being here was to furnish those documents. He cannot again give us an excuse. Why he's here is basically because of those documents. So let him furnish us those documents.
Maybe proceed. Okay, Honorable Peter, I want to make a ruling on that before you come in again. Let's give him a benefit of doubt one more time. I want to say we are
procedure, Mr. Chairman.
We are. No, I'm still ruling. We shall give Honorable Crispin Kaheru a benefit of doubt one more time to present all the documents that we asked for yesterday. And on that note, I want to excuse the Uganda Human Rights Commission, and we stay in house. I'll ask Honorable Cohen to see them out. And I will ask Honorable Cohen, in case of any information, please discuss privately with them. No, we have. Okay, I'll ask Honorable Cohen to see.
The witness is not safe with Honorable Cohen.
Madam Chairperson,
the chairperson doesn't look safe with
Madam
Honorable
Chairperson,
Cohen.
thank you so much for affording us time. But Honorable Secretary, I will also add
our sister is
That's the MP's response.
I'll also add on Honorable Secretary to see them out. Thank you, Honorable Madam Chairperson and our guests. Thank you for coming.
Uganda Eyenkya.